Pedri or Vitinha, who truly owned the midfield in 2024-25?
My heart and my soul is with Pedri.
Pedri dazzled with unmatched control, earning 8 consecutive MVPs in La Liga. A monster with an innocent face who was almost impossible to dispossess off the ball. Whereas across the continent, Vitinha lit up Europe, spearheading PSG's 5-0 demolition of Inter in the Champions League final.
Vitinha plays a different sport. It's not the same football you know, when you control the tempo and the rhythm of a game, that has to count for something. People always talk about people that can do step overs and stuff like that and win the game, and I understand that. But Vitinha, the way he controls the game and defends, and it's a different sport.
This wasn't just a season, it was a statement from 2 of football's brightest minds. From tactical dominance to jaw-dropping moments, the battle for midfield supremacy has never been fiercer. However, when the dust settles, only one could stand out. It's not about who was better, it's about who changed the game. 2 midfielders, 2 philosophies. Pedri and Vitinha didn't just grow into stars, they were sculpted by systems with diametrically opposing DNA. Let's start at the roots. Pedri's rise was meteoric. Born in Tenerife, he burst onto the scene with Las Palmas at just 16, while playing in the Segunda Division. What followed was a transfer to Barcelona in 2019 when he was only 17 years of age. Though he was not a La Masia product, Pedri absorbed Barca's culture almost instantly. Under Ronald Koeman, that 18-year-old kid played 52 games in his very first season in 2020-21. The flashes of Messi-Pedri relation that we saw in that season makes us all emotional. It could have been another world-class duo if fate had been a little lenient on us. Under Xavi, he became the club's metronome, but injuries haunted him for 2 to 3 years constantly. However, Hansi Flick and his medical board brought wonders for an injury-prone Barca's lifeline. So, in a full season after 2020-21, he showed us why everyone regards him so highly. His intelligence and positional play earned him a reputation as a hybrid between Iniesta and Busquets. On the other side, Vitinha's development followed a very different path. A true Porto Academy graduate, and his talent was refined in the ultra-competitive Premier League. A loan move to Wolves in 2020-21 didn't set the Premier League on fire, but the experience of playing in the high-intensity English League, it gave him much-needed confidence. After returning to Porto, he became indispensable under Sergio Conceição. The ability to dictate play and recover possession earned him a move to Paris Saint-Germain in 2022. We saw flashes of his brilliance earlier, but Luis Enrique created a storm in him in his first season at PSG. By the start of the 2024-25 season, Vitinha wasn't just a starter, he was PSG's tactical fulcrum. His stamina, vision, and defensive discipline allowed Enrique to build a pressing and possession hybrid system around him. While Pedri's football evokes poetry, Vitinha's feels like architecture, which is precise, intentional, and durable. So, who matured faster? Who adapted better under pressure? We've met the men, now it's time to relive the moments that defined their seasons. For Pedri, 2024-25 was a campaign of control and brilliance. Though he was Barcelona's heartbeat in the whole season, and they suffered whenever he was absent.
Squares it. Pedri's onto it! What a stunning way to open this Copa del Rey final up!
That banger goal for Barcelona's opener in the Copa del Rey final, it was the highlight of how Pedri can hurt you in multiple ways on the football pitch. That counter-attack was well controlled by Real Madrid's defense. They forced Yamal out of the box, who passed Pedri without any creative solution. The Barca midfielder just caressed the ball from out of the box to the top corner against Thibaut Courtois for an out-of-this-world blinder. The Champions League semi-final against Inter was another example. Though Barcelona lost that match, the duo of Pedri and Yamal caused constant problems for them. Inter was confident about their defense, and they let Pedri take the ball. And that's the thing you cannot do against this sorcerer of Catalonia. Barcelona completed a comeback for ages against them, the story that could have been different if their defense had not been so fragile. At last, how can we forget that backheel touch and goal against France in the Nations League semi-final?
Nico Williams now from Pedri, for Pedri, it's 4!
That picture is getting viral, and according to some fans, La Liga is considering making that picture La Liga's official logo. However, those are just rumors from fans, and we don't have any official news regarding that. The other competitor, Vitinha, delivered moments less flashy, yes, but equally decisive. In the Champions League final against Inter Milan, he completed 90% pass accuracy and 1 assist as well. Apart from scoring charts, it was a complete performance by a centre midfielder in ball carries, tackles, and attempted crosses. He never allowed Inter to come back from midfield, which they did all season, and that resulted in a 5-0 humiliation on the biggest stage of European club football. Apart from the final, he was instrumental for PSG in the semi-league final against Arsenal as well. He exploited the defensive patience of Arsenal so proficiently in pockets. He won a penalty but missed it eventually. However, he did not miss the control that is associated with him despite Arsenal's pressure and the presence of Declan Rice and Odegaard on the field. He was a leader that day, and he helped PSG play another final after 2020. In short, Pedri lit the spark and Vitinha kept the engine running. However, emotions aside, let's compare the numbers of both and see how they fare on that front. Pedri has had his most complete season to date under Hansi Flick. He logged in approximately 4,939 minutes across all competitions, avoiding major injuries for the first time since his breakout year. His creative influence remained elite. He scored 7 goals and assisted 10 in all competitions. However, his impact is much deeper. According to FBref.com, he averages 9.62 progressive passes and 5.21 to 5.31 shot-creating actions per 90 minutes. That astonishing number means he's in the top 1% of midfielders in Europe's top 5 leagues. With those unparalleled offensive numbers, he was also present everywhere in the defense. That little frail boy has made 253 ball recoveries in La Liga alone, 64 more than second place and highest in the top 5 leagues of Europe. In the game against Mallorca, he made a Barcelona record with 18 ball recoveries in a single game. The interesting thing is that he only took 3 days to break his personal record of 17 recoveries against Celta Vigo earlier in the week. Now let's look at Vitinha. PSG's 2024-25 campaign saw him evolve from system player to centerpiece. Across 3,482 minutes, he delivered 7 goals and 6 assists. But again, we have to see the deeper metrics to analyze more. He boasts a staggering 93.53% passing accuracy in the Champions League this season for over 1,300 minutes. Just when you think this number can't be sustained for longer durations, he gives you 94.13% in 29 matches of Ligue 1 this year. These are elite stats for a midfielder who works in tight central zones. When you add 1.47 tackles per 90 minutes, you get a midfielder who works as a sniper offensively and doesn't shy away from doing the dirty work for the team. That's why Lucho loves to put him in difficult situations. Now, if we're committed to comparing, we must know stats don't always tell the complete story. For that, we have to know the importance of each player in his system. How are their teams built around them? Beyond stats, one thing was evident during the whole season. Both Hansi Flick and Luis Enrique never started any important game without these midfield maestros. Pedri thrived as Barcelona's midfield nucleus in 2024-25. While officially deployed as a left-sided interior in Flick's 4-3-3, he often dropped deeper to link phases, operating as a free pivot, alongside or behind Frenkie de Jong or Marc Casado. This dual-role flexibility made him invaluable, as he was often a third centre-back in defence, and in possession, he was a bridge to the final third. If we say Hansi Flick's positional play system relies on one player to unbalance opponents with subtle timing, it has to be Pedri. He has the most final third passes at 1,099 in La Liga, with the most ball recoveries too. How rarely do we see a player leading both these charts? That's how influential Pedri was all season. And it's a disgrace that we're not taking his name in the conversations of Ballon d'Or alongside other contenders. In France, Vitinha served a different function under Luis Enrique. To play fluid football, Luis Enrique deployed an approach of changing structure in possession. They often changed from 4-3-3 to 3-2-5 with the ball to overload players in the opposition's half. In this system, Vitinha consistently played the role of connector and presser. While not operating as a traditional deep-lying playmaker, he was the first progression option and the primary trigger for PSG's press. His ability to win the ball in advanced areas and recycle possession quickly, it allowed Enrique to commit more numbers forward. He plays hide-and-seek in the midfield with João Neves and Fabian Ruiz. Teams often tried to press Vitinha this season and saw their structure getting out of shape without troubling him much. This tenaciousness and press-resilient ability is getting extinct day by day, and in the modern intense system, we don't find many bowlers who can hold the ball as efficiently as this 25-year-old from Portugal. So, we're getting clear now. Pedri offers control and La Pausa. Vitinha delivers fluidity through disruption. One manipulates the tempo, the other forces it to change. Tactically, both are different, but they can play the reverse of their roles and are highly indispensable. The final question is, how did this impact their performances when the spotlight was brightest? Both these magicians excel in structure, but big games ask different questions. In the cauldron of knockout football or title deciders, consistency alone isn't enough. Precision under pressure also becomes the metric. We've already talked about games against Real Madrid and the Nation League semi-final against France. However, we can talk about any game in the knockouts, and you'll see Pedri was a standout performer. Let's go to Lisbon on the 6th of March 2025. In the Champions League round of 16, Barca was one man down and was suffering away from home in the smoky atmosphere created by Benfica fans. In those pressure moments, Pedri gave a monstrous performance and walked away with the MVP in a game where Szczęsny faced 26 shots. On that night, we saw that time stops when the ball touches the feet of La Sardina. He made 11 ball recoveries, completed 60 passes with 92.3% accuracy, and recorded an 8.1 SofaScore rating. PSG faced a similar situation against title favourites Liverpool in the first leg of the Champions League. They dominated every metric of that match, including 27 shots, but still ended up on the losing side with a 1-0 scoreline. When Luis Enrique's side entered Anfield on March 12, 2025, Vitinha delivered an extraordinary performance and was awarded MVP by UEFA. He orchestrated PSG's midfield and dictated the momentum of the game with 103 completed passes from 136 touches. He also contributed defensively with 5 attempted tackles, 6 clearances, and 7 recoveries. His influence extended to the penalty shootout as well, where he confidently scored the first penalty, setting a positive tone for his team. From this game onward, the pundits started to praise and rate him as a key player for Luis Enrique. On the biggest stages, both showed maturity beyond their years. In the end, we just wish we had witnessed these two most informed midfielders facing each other. The clash can give us the verdict of our debate. Luckily, the Lords of Football were benevolent enough to bless a final of the Nations League between Spain and Portugal for the answer we are desperately looking for. In the 2025 UEFA Nations League final between Portugal and Spain, Vitinha and Pedri both played key midfield roles, but midfield dominance leaned slightly in favour of Pedri in terms of control and passing precision, while Vitinha contributed significantly to Portugal's resilience and efficiency. Pedri completed all 52 of his attempted passes, achieving a rare, perfect 100% pass completion rate in the final of a big event. Till he was on the pitch, his effort was evident in engineering the creative play. Spain dominated the midfield. This domination was also evident in the 62% of Spain's possession and 16 shots compared to Portugal's 7. He assisted Oyarzabal's goal with a beautiful through ball to give Spain a lead and ended the game with an 8-10 match rating. Why the Spanish manager substituted him in the 76th minute to change the strategy is still a question, and a blunder in tactical management. Vitinha, meanwhile, had the most 88 touches for Portugal and completed 76 of 81 passes with a 93.8% accuracy, while playing a crucial role in maintaining Portugal's structure and helping them absorb the pressure. His performance was solid, but less dominant in possession as compared to Pedri's. He ended the match with a 7.3 SofaScore rating. However, Portugal resisted Spain with guts, and, as they say, there is more than one way to win a football match. Vitinha and Portugal held their nerve in the penalty shootout for the second biggest UEFA tournament after Euro Cup. So, in the end, Pedri might be better in quality, but if we're talking specifically about the 24-25 season, Vitinha's trophy cabinet, it might make every midfielder on planet Earth jealous. He's won a treble on club level and the Nations League with Portugal as well. We must put our biases aside. Football is a team game, and on that metric, we have to say Vitinha wins this race as the best midfielder of 2024-25. Pedri may have ruled the eye test, but Vitinha won everything this season, and the game remembers only winners.